Hello everyone, welcome back to the HCW Podcast. My name is RGX, and today on the show we will be discussing WWE Smackdown, AEW Rampage, WWE RAW, NXT Heatwave, New Edition, and AEW Dynamite. Stick around, roll intro.
HCW Reviews.
Hello everyone, welcome back to HCW Podcast. I'm joined as always by Frozzy and DP. Now, Ray is missing this week on assignment as he is undergoing a house move at the moment, so he will be back with us soon. But for now, you have this trio of awesome podcasters. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just enjoying these 2 days off before I have this hard-working weekend ahead of me.
Oh, I get that. What about yourself, DP?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I say it every week, but work is kicking my ass. Yeah, it's just what it is. But I've got a good weekend coming up. I've got Friday and Monday off, so looking forward to that.
Sounds good. So as I said, we do have a lot of wrestling to cover, so let's roll right into it with the SmackDown review. Take it away, please, DP.
Okay, on to you. He's not here. Okay. So, this is SmackDown for the 12th of August. We kick things off with a women's tag title tournament match. You could have had anything start off. Instead, they chose Raquel Rodriguez and Alia taking on Shotzi and Xia Li, which is a brave choice, I'll say. All I got here is Raquel smiles too much. She's got like the Chelsea grin, like the Cheshire Cat sort of. So it's basically just Raquel smash. That's really all it is. There's a spot where she does a gorilla press on Alia, who then crossbodies into Xia, which looked alright, I guess. There's a spot as well where it's clear who's winning because the referee counts too slow, allowing someone to bring up a pin. So that 1, 2, and then that sort of. Then we get Beast Mode with Raquel, who just wipes house, just cleans house completely.
Raquel smash.
Yeah, pretty much. Shotzi slice bread gets a 2 count, followed up by Aaliyah saving Raquel from a double Russian leg sweep, which didn't seem that important, but she gets a spear in, and then we get a Tahana bomb from Raquel, which is like the power bomb into the side power bomb stance thing for the 3 count. So they go on. That was the first match of the night.
It gets better, don't worry.
Yeah, I was going to say it does get much better, but...
Mm-hmm. So, this is followed on by a promo with Karrion, Cross, and Scarlett, which they basically just say how their time's coming, and the times of the chosen ones, Drew and Roman, are coming to an end. That's your life.
I do like when the camera pans out, though. You can see them kind of skulking round the corner from Drew making his entrance. That was a really nice touch.
It was a nice touch, but I did think it was sort of a bit peeping Tom. A little bit. It's like, look at him getting changed and getting ready for his match. Like, but yeah, that was as you said, they panned out and they showed that. Following on from this, we get the in-ring promo from Drew, who, I'll be honest, I didn't pay much attention to this. He just plays lots of the crowd and mentions Clash and then mentions Karrion, and he's like, "I'm gonna kick your head in." And he's like, "The guy you treated like garbage last week, that was Drew McIntyre, and you made a mistake with that."
Yeah.
That's basically it. And then you got the music of Cross playing. Out comes Scarlett. Then the Usos attack Drew. I don't know. It's kind of a mess. The whole thing for me.
I wouldn't say so. I thought the Usos take advantage of the situation in Russia was a good wrinkle to it. Because they're really trying to sell the fact this is a 3-way feud.
Yeah.
So I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I didn't think it was the worst thing. But it just seemed to be a theme of the week that the Usos were just going to attack Drew McIntyre whenever he breathed, basically.
More on that later. We get a little video package, which is just showing off the S title, which is a nice little touch from what was previously treated as a nothing mid-card title. So to show a bit of history, Mr. Perfect, also showing that. Savage was shown on it as well. Bit of history behind it, just a bit of bit of heritage to it. There's not touch for it. After that, we get the entrance of the Viking Raiders, who proceed to walk about 5 steps and then are attacked by Kofi the kendo stick. Again, not much here. Just attacks them and then he's wiped out by them, and then we get a little barricade splash from Ivar to wipe out Kofi.
The barricade splash looked good because it's something you've not. I don't think I've seen that before. Anything that's not been done that looks good, I'm all for.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what was good as well. When they were blocking with the shield that they had, I can't remember which one he was going at, and then the other one, as Kofi jumped up, the other one just launched it straight into his face. And I was just like, that's gonna hurt. There's no way in this earth it can't hurt.
It's like their Viking instincts actually took over there.
Yeah.
Following on from this, we get another segment where we got Sami Zayn outside the Usos, the Bloodlines locker room, where he just knocks on the door. They're there. They open the door. It's like, "What's up, Us?" It's like, "Hey, Us." And then before he says anything, they're attacked by Drew, who just literally runs in like. So if you remember Braun Strowman, his style of just running from off camera onto the camera, sort of like attacking immediately. That's it very much, and then he takes out both Usos. Sami runs away, and then the last bit you see in this little segment is Drew walking away, shouting, "Oh, Sami!"
Oh, Sami!
Following up on this, we get the well-known team of Brandon Scott and Trevor Irvin taking on the return Hit Row. the Hit.
But you missed out Pat pointing out where all the poop's gonna be when they're.
I left that out intentionally.
There's gonna be poop everywhere.
So this is the return of Hit Row to WWE. They're on SmackDown minus the leader because reasons.
The OG3.
The OG3 indeed. So this is just pretty much a squash match just to get over Top Dollar and Ashante Diodonis. Not much to it. They get the win with their heavy hitter, which is a drop kick into a backdrop combo, which looks alright, but kind of basic as well.
I was going to say it looked well.
It looked alright, but it's not like what I would think of a tag finisher.
Yeah, it's not going to be hard to mess up.
But yeah, that was the end of that match pretty much, and then they say their names again. It was like, "Hey guys, I'm B-Fab, and I'm Top Dollar, and I'm Ashante Diodonis."
Yeah, he can talk though, which is good.
Mm.
Yeah. And one thing I will point out is you got B-Fab playing up because she's fabulous, sort of like, and you got Top Dollar who does this whole like, I'm heavy hitting, bar flowing, and then you got Adonis who's like, "Yeah, look at my shoes."
It looks good. It's a fashion icon.
Yeah.
That was that. We get a nice little what's the word? Shout out, I guess, to Jean LaBelle, who's only passed away fairly recently. Someone who's quite not necessarily a well-known name, but someone who is an older name within the wrestling world, and someone who's been heavily involved with a lot of current day stars of training, and even some who even retired nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it's quite nice thing to see that you may not have seen under the previous regime.
Yeah.
After this, we are getting set up for the contract signing between Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler, when suddenly out comes Ronda Rousey. That's exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a bag with her. The bag, who knows what's in it? It could be a head. She just proceeds to say how she's been fined, or like, you won't see me here because I've been fined, or because of my actions with the officials. But you know what? They fined me. Then she pours out all this money. And then she's like, you know what? There's double there, because I'll do it again. And then that was pretty much that.
I'm fairly sure that's not how fines work.
Yeah.
I'll pay you in advance for the next one. It's fine.
Yeah, but then so the thing that annoyed me most about this whole segment is that when the security came down and she was like, "Ah, you're gonna get rid of me," and then she like arm dragged that one girl, and then like 30 seconds later, the girl who she'd arm dragged and done whatever to was just completely no selling it, was just walking off like nothing had happened.
Mm.
Yeah, it really annoyed me. And I only noticed it because it was just dead obvious when she walked behind Shayna Baszler. And I was just like, you've literally just been beat up like 30 seconds ago.
I did not notice that, I'll be honest. I didn't see that at all. But yeah, as Ronda's leaving, she's still staying on Shayna, which is a match that I'm a little bit invested in, I'll be honest. I think Shayna could get a good match out of Ronda.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great match.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm hoping is non-title, because I think it's still a little bit soon to take it off of Liv.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be against Shayna finally getting a main roster title either.
Yeah.
I feel like the way it might go is that Ronda's going to interfere in that match.
Yeah.
And Baszler's going to be pissed.
Yeah. I think as well that it could be a good time to take the belt off of Liv, only because she's got the cast on her arm. So that's your kayfabe reasoning for taking it off her so soon.
Yeah, potentially. Rumble win, maybe? Bit early to say, I know, but...
Yeah.
So, we cut forward. We have Shayna now in the ring. And she calls out Liv for the contract signing. Liv comes out. So, that's just very simple right now. Liv calls Shayna a bootleg Ronda Rousey, and she knows that because she's beaten the real one twice. I hate to point out the obvious, but you didn't beat Ronda the second time, but whatever.
What did the record book show, mate?
That's a good question. I didn't check. Yeah, so we get Liv signs the contract, and then holds tight on, yeah. And then we've got Shayna being a sport and just attacks the arm. And then that's the segment. And then they have a little bit of fight where she pulls the arm and twists the arm a little bit. And then I don't know how they got to this point, but Liv was able to bulldog Shayna through the table.
Yeah, the table was too far away for me to think this was believable. Like, Baszler walked like 10 paces to fall through a table, basically.
Yeah. Got put Liv over. So we get a segment with the Usos and Sammy, where they just berate him for running off earlier. And then he says he wasn't running away, he was getting security.
I loved that. I loved it.
I was away to get a teacher honest.
Yeah. Fight!
They say that they're going out, to call out Drew. And then they call out Drew. And then Drew's out there. And then they're like, this is going to be a tag match, so you can find out any partner you want. And then Drew doesn't find a partner. And he just fights them 2-on-1.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Never fear, because just the unspoken rule of SmackDown since Taylon days, there must be a tag team match, player. So out comes, generic jobber number 3. I mean, sorry, Madcap Moss. Sorry, I misspoke. I'm sorry.
It's wild because they announce it as like, oh, it must be a handicap match, and then he's just allowed to enter this handicap match.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's nothing to him. Since he left Corbin, he's had nothing going for him. Like, he looks good. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first thought after seeing this was, well, there's someone to eat the pound so that the tag champs don't need to look like idiots again.
Yeah.
But alas.
Yeah. This is a nothing match, which ends with Drew getting the win. I want to say Madcap Moss because he didn't do much.
He just slammed a couple of people and
Madcap kind of smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, for as good as WWE's been lately, there are still some things that are very much annoying me. And making your tag champs lose non-title matches to Franken teams is right up there.
Yeah.
There is one thing good about this entire segment though, and that is after the match we get Jimmy or Jay. I think it was Jimmy. Trying to attack Drew post match, and then Drew hits him with a move. I think it was a Buzzard Kiss. I could be wrong. Jimmy's down, and then you get the whole Claymore 3, 2, 1, and then Sammy actually gets in the way and pushes Jimmy away to take the Claymore, which I thought was a nice little touch because Sammy wants to be part of that group still, and he's not like ashamed to. Despite what the Usos said to him last week,
He's not a coward.
This week.
No.
Exactly.
Like, how long have the Usos been in WWE now?
2011?
I think
And I still can't
tell
tell them apart.
Oh no!
I still don't know which one's Jimmy and which one's Jay. I've not got a clue.
No, Jay's the one with the short hair now.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'll remember that. It's just, I'm just like, I could never commentate on these because I don't know which one's which.
But following on from this, we get the best part of the entire show. And this time I've got no rate to, berate the segment. So, we have we have a photo shoot where we have Marseille and Mansoir topless, the way you like it, and they're posing the photos to show their abdominals because it said right this time, their abdominal muscles, and they're showing off basically, their amazing good looks. This is then cut off by Max Dupree being a bit, like, what are you guys doing here? And then it's the next guys over here, Mexican job on 1 and 2, Los Lotharios. They're here and they're like, hey guys, you should hire us because, we're handsome. We're the most handsome tag team. I don't know what I'm doing voices for.
No, please don't.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing it. So they're saying that they're the most handsome tag team, and that's basically just cut off. And then Max says, "You're not the right kind of people that we're looking for." And then they're saying, "We weren't talking to you. We were talking to you." And then they look at Maxine, who I will say seems interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the gimmick. Like, all the women do actually find them like quite sweet and attractive.
Yeah.
Like, none of them are like get away ugly, you freak. They all dig it.
Are we going to get the Survivor Series match of Max Dupree's Maximum Male Models and Maxine's two little goons at the side? Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Umberto's white bread, but that's unfair to Angel Garza.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I did like Garza at one point. I don't like what he's doing now. Don't like him in Los Lotharios, but yeah, Garza's, he can go.
Humberto shined in 205.
Yeah, but he didn't need to do much in 205. He just had to wrestle, that was it.
Yeah. He didn't have a bad run on Raw, Korea. He did all right for, like, he was featured for 6-7 weeks and he looked all right, and then
but they botched like crazy with Sheamus.
Yeah.
That killed his pitch.
So moving on from that, we are told that we're going to get a Viking funeral for New Day next week.
Get in.
And then I can't complain what I just saw there from RGX.
Some arsehole with a motorbike went by.
And then we're followed on by a vignette for Zoe Starks and Nikita Lyons from NXT. All I've written here is one wants to fight and the other wants to flaunt. Because you've got Starks going like, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to beat you up. And then you've got Lyons going like, that's all like, that's all it was, these two. And then that was it. They're saying they're going to win the tournament for the tag titles and they're going to win and prove that NXT is a force to reckon with. Following on from that, we have the main event, finally. We have the Intercontinental title match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Gunther. So this starts off with a grappling sort of like a grapple match. We get a lot back and forth, and then it's clear at some point that because of all the kicks and offense to Gunther's arm, that he's now injured his arm. So you see him sort of holding on to it a little bit, and you see him sort of playing up to the fact that that is now a target for Shinsuke to work on.
John Moxley, take note, that's how you sell. Go on.
Yeah, we saw him join it later. But anyway, so we get an armbar spot from Shinsuke where it does look like there's a chance Gunther could tap, because they do that little squirming thing where it's like, oh, it must hurt more because they're doing that.
It's like a hope spot in it. No way you might do this.
Yeah. Eventually Gunther powers out of it and he hooks it into a butterfly suplex, which affords a nice little counter to make use of both arms and not just one arm. Whereas before, you'd be like lift, powerbomb, but it was a nice spot. I've written here, I can't remember why I wrote this, but I wrote, there's a chance Shinsuke could win? Question mark. And then it all ends off with Shinsuke is set up for Kinshasa. The crowd are really behind this. He sets up for it, and then he runs towards him, and then lariat. And you thought, oh, okay. That's it. 1, 2, kick out. And you're like, okay, he's still alive. And then it's like, oh no, he's in the sleeper now. Okay. And then he's in the sleeper for about, 10, 15 seconds. Let's go with it, like Suzuki style. And then hits him with a power bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Still your Intercontinental Champion, Gunther.
Now,
Perfect.
after watching this, I was ready to be coming on the show saying that's going to be my match of the week. But it ended up being a much closer decision than I thought it would be. But I'll not spoil it just now. Just know that it's on the shortlist.
But yeah, that was SmackDown, and your final shot is Gunther with the Intercontinental title being put around him by Ludwig.
I'm concerned that your match of the week is going to be something I did not like now.
No, I doubt that very much.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that was SmackDown.
Cool, so let's head on with Rampage.
Oh shit, that's B2, isn't it?
Yeah. See what happens,
Okay.
right?
Damn you. Okay, so this is Rampage for same day. It was the 12th of August. So we start off things with an interview, which is AEW style, I guess. We start off with Tony Schiavone in the ring with Bryan Danielson. So he basically wants to know what's going on, and does he feel 100%? Bryan basically just comes back and says that he knows he's never been 100%, and he loves fighting for the fans in the ring, and he'll keep fighting until he's physically stopped, or to the point where he just can't anymore. He knows his career will end at some point, which was a bit sad, but it won't end on Dynamite. Not this Wednesday coming. This is then interrupted by Daniel Garcia, who is coming in his own, I think. Like he's
Very much so.
He's standing out a lot from JAS. Not Anna. But yeah, he comes out and he basically just says that Bryan's his hero, but it sounds like his hero's making excuses. It sounds like Bryan is making excuses for when he loses. He's tired of Danielson retiring and coming back, retiring, coming back. He's basically one of us.
Didn't he retire once and come back once?
I think it was twice, but yeah. But yeah, sorry. I was getting a bit lost in thought then. But yeah, it's hurting Garcia, and that makes Garcia want to hurt Bryan. So after Wednesday, he won't be known as a Dragon Slayer. He'll be known as the best technical wrestler in the world.
wrestler, not sports entertainer. Bear that in mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Brian comes back and he worries about some of the stuff that Jericho's been teaching him, some of the stuff that Jericho had been teaching or preaching, so be it within the society. And then he asks, does Garcia want to be the best sports entertainer in the business or the best technical wrestler in the world? And then he says he's going to leave it to Garcia to figure out. But overall, I really enjoyed that opening. I don't know how you guys feel about
Yep, and spoilers, it's the only reason we even kept Rampage on the show this week.
Yeah.
that.
You'd like to explain the dross that followed it?
Happily, I guess. So we had, firstly, a match with no build. We had a match for the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships. I don't know what they're called in Mexican. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But we had the team champions of Tay Conti, who's now going by the name Tay Mello, and Sammy Guevara, her husband now. I don't know if that's a husband or husband.
It was a real wedding.
Oh, okay, fine, cool. So, husband. Taking on the team of, I don't know why they're teaming together, Dante Martin and Sky Blue. Because they like caps or hoodies, I don't know. This is a nothing match. Literally ends with a TKO.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing of note for this match. You know who's going to win, so
Yeah.
And that trend continues.
So we move on to what I like to call a dark match, but should have been a dark match. We have Sunny Kiss making their first appearance on TV in a while, I believe. Taking on Parker Boudreaux.
Imagine if it was Brock.
I pop, honestly. But no, this is, again, less than a minute, or maybe just over a minute, actually. But this is another match again, squash. Parker wins. Yay. Go team. This is followed by, I don't want to say match of the night, because it wasn't. But I sort of have to, because it has like 3 people I really like in AEW in it. So we have the team of the Gun Club, Colton and Austin, taking on Beardhausen, which, for those of you who don't know, is Danhausen and this guy over here. You can just see off screen, I think, over there. I'm not sure. Is he over there? But I think he is. I'm not sure.
Eric Redbeard.
Eric Redbeard, or formerly known as Eric Rowan. Again, this is, I hate to say it, but this is a nothing match.
Means hee-haw.
I don't want to say it was a case where you knew who was going to win, because it genuinely, in my head, could have gone either way. Because you got this big guy coming in, he's fairly known to the world, and Danhausen's just over everyone. So you would think there's a chance. But no, we get a famous start to Danhausen for the Gun Club to pick up the win here. That was a match. It happened.
Yep. Same as all of these matches.
We get a bit of a bit of reference to WWE Heatwave period again, to give his cards out to the Gun Club. And they're getting more interested, Gun Club, I think, in this. We are introduced to the Golden Boy, the savior and most handsome man in the world, Hook. Who has an interview where he answers a lot of questions very, very efficiently, very eloquently. And then we're cut off by, can you guess who?
Some reality
Wrestling's-
TV jobber.
That's right. Wrestling's next #1 star. The man with no wrestling experience whatsoever, probably. Zach Clayton.
Crickets.
No? Oh. Yeah, he just basically just says, hey, I'll challenge you for the FW title.
Yeah, move on.
Yep. So
there can't be
this
much left on this now.
There really isn't. So next up, we have the main event, which is Orange Cassidy taking on latest person to buy TV time from Tony. I don't know. Ari Daivari, who is Arya Daivari, for those of you who don't know. Again, this is a very match. And I hate to say it because I somewhat enjoy Rampage, but this week has just been a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's with that in mind that if the show is this bad again next week and then subsequent weeks, we're just not going to cover it.
Yeah.
and I get fired out of a job.
We'll find
That
something for you to
Rampage.
do. But yeah, we can't justify putting
Wasting
time
time.
into the podcast for it when it's the biggest nothing burger outside of one promo.
Yeah.
But one more thing I must add before we go off this is we've got a turn. So sorry, let's say firstly, Cassidy wins. Firstly, as if that weren't clear already. But I should point out that. And also, we get a heel turn with Sunny Kiss joining the Trustbusters, which is Ari Daivari, Pocket Boudreaux, some guy called Slim J. Now Sunny Kiss.
Exactly, some guy.
Yeah, no one's going to care about these people.
Yeah, just something that adds on further to what RJX said before.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely. If stuff like this is going to happen on it, we don't need to cover it. 'cause it
Especially
ain't
when
ever gonna make
that's your main event angle of Rampage.
Yeah.
It's,
I
if we're
had
going
such
to
high
review
hopes for
that,
this show.
yeah, if we're going to review that, let's just open the door to main event and superstars and
Yeah.
we can afterburn if that's still a thing.
And
Live wire and Michael Cole's mailbag. And
But yeah, that was Rampage.
Thank God that's over.
I have no words.
So,
You found some.
and after that, I've managed to find some decent wrestling to report on. The 1 week the rate goes off. Last time he gave me an absolute diabolically bad Raw. This time,
Yeah, it did.
this time I've actually really enjoyed this Raw. So it opens up with a Judgment Day promo, and my first note is all three of them look bloody good in a suit.
Yeah.
Like, their sense of fashion is just bang on. And I still love the kind of inverted shadows with the blue lighting.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that Finn and Priest could be good additions to the Maximum models.
No, I think they're an agency all of their own. They're above that. So
How dare you?
I do like that there doesn't seem to be a clear leader. I know like people talk about it being Finn, but they all have equal mic time. This time it is mostly Rhea, who states that she's now Dom's pappy. So I wonder if we're going to have custody of Dom in a ladder match again between this time Eddie between Ray and Rhea.
Dom on a pole.
I watched that.
But they claim that no, Mr. Mysterio's no here, which we find out is a lie. But that's before they talk about Edge not being there either. Damian Priest has cut a really good promo, and What Chance need to go away. I am so done with What Chance.
I was done with them years ago.
And if anyone tries What Chanting next to us when we're at Clash, I'm going to punch him in the stomach.
Get thrown out.
You know it's going to happen.
But as I say, it's a really good promo overcoming the What Chants from Damian Priest, saying more than all rise, as Ray would like to point out. But obviously Ray did actually turn up, House of Fire, or given he's only a little bungalow of fire, cutting around the ring. But again, can't hit Rhea. And it's just the fact as well that Rhea is willing to take the hit. She's like daring.
Yeah.
And they set Rhea up for the coup de grace, but this time with a chair on his chest, so it gets like properly crushed down. It does look really good. So we then cut to advert, and then when we come back, it's the team of what I call Bliska, Alexa Bliss and Asuka against Nikki and Doudrop. Bianca comes out to be in their corner because they're in the trios match, but not feuding against Doudrop and Nikki.
Sorry, is that your name for the team of Bliss and Asuka, or is that just the WWE's name for the team?
Oh no, I wrote it in my notes. They've not called them that as far as I'm aware.
Oh, okay, fine.
Right, if they have, I want credit for it. But as I say, it started off, I was like worried it was going to be a squash because Asuka and Alexa were all over them. But thankfully, they got a bit of fire back. It became a little bit more competitive. But we all knew who was going to win, sadly. I say sadly, it would be sad to everyone else. But just because they're my local girls, so I want to see them do well. But the leather jacket instead of the cape was a nice first touch towards that, of them becoming more serious. And then there was after Bliss and Asuka get the win, down come Control for a stare down, but not a brawl this time, which was nice. So after that, we've got a theory interview, and my first note is, for God's sake, tell us something new. Yes, you're the Embrace Money in the Bank. Yes, you're going to be the face of WWE. But then Dolph comes in, and Theory calls him a one-time World Heavyweight Champion, which he wasn't. He was two-time World Heavyweight Champion. But, well, I know one of them was in kind of dubious circumstances because he basically had to hand the belt back. Went in his feud with Edge and Vicky Guerrero. But they kind of brawl, and I really like how the brawl kind of fell into the camera and black out the camera, and that was the cut to commercial.
Yeah.
But that was a nice little touch. Like, see these kind of reality kind of things are really starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that are growing on me, I'm really enjoying Miz and Ciampa now. I know, Frozzy, you're still not a fan of this.
No, I hate it. Ciampa should not be with Miz on any planet.
The way I see it is, if you remember Miz and Daniel Bryan back from the original season of NXT, it's almost like what would happen if Daniel Bryan had embraced Miz's advice.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at it that way and like see what they're actually doing, I'm
like
all
when
for
he
it.
goes on the ropes, like when Miz does his thing on the ropes and Ciampa's doing it with him, and I'm just like, no, don't do this to Ciampa.
But they are right there because they are facing the latest Franken team of Ali and Cedric Alexander. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for seeing them on TV and doing something and actually be able to wrestle a good match, which this is. And when we come back at one point, there is an actual like trash can on fire in the back. Meant to say that Ciampa gets the win with the Fairy Tale ending. It's good seeing that it's Ciampa getting the wins as well, not Miz.
Yeah.
Not that Miz isn't capable, just that it's Ciampa that's looking strong off the back of these.
Yeah. The whole thing that led into that finish as well was like he could have probably pinned him without the finisher, but he did the finish anyway. Because the whole move was just impressive.
He's looking incredibly strong. And after they cut to commercial with the bin being on fire at the back, we get Drew coming out for a promo without his sword again. So hopefully the sword is long gone. Well, it's probably just been given back to Vince. Because it was Vince's sword, apparently. And from here, like, basically my notes just start going into, oh my god, yes, I am all for this. This is so bloody cool. So we get a promo from Drew, basically saying what he was saying on SmackDown, but addressing the fact that there was rumours about his back being injured. Of course, that he's not going to lie, his back has been injured, he's working through it. It's from the weight of carrying 20 members of the roster. But when he wins that title, he's come to Monday Night Raw to scout potential opponents. Runs down the likes of AJ Styles, Ciampa, Bobby Lashley, etc. And then Kevin Owens music hits. I was like, yes, I am all for a Drew and Kevin Owens feud. Didn't realise we'd get it started like right away. But we now have the rebirth of the Kevin Owens prize fighter. He says that he's remembered who he is and he's not going to stop until he's got the tag team titles, the US title, the Intercontinental title, the WWE title, the Universal title. Misses out the 24/7 title, which I think could be very quietly getting dropped soon, I think. But Drew fires back with an incredible promo saying that it was WWE that called him because he was working around the world wrestling, putting on absolute barn burners, and when he came back he threw himself right back into the top of the fold again and wasn't letting the chance go this time, and finished off by saying, "We are wrestlers in a wrestling ring, let's just freaking wrestle." And then they just started going for it. Like,
I really wish he hadn't have said freaking.
Yeah,
it's just like,
because I think he was going to say fucking.
Yeah, no, that's naturally what he, like any of us would have said. But yeah, he knew where he was, but he didn't anything but freaking, I think.
Yeah, I think it took some of the intensity out of that promo.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No,
he was very passionate. He was very veiny while it was going on. You couldn't get away from the intensity of what he was saying. And yeah, he was. That's the best Drew McIntyre promo I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Owens has been gold for 6 years.
Yeah,
but I love the return of this Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So this leads immediately into an incredible back and forth match. My notes are very extensive with a "this is awesome" clap 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 clap. But after a good 20 minutes of back and forth action, which was on course to be my runaway match of the week, we had the Usos come out for interference. Now, any other time I would have been annoyed at this, but I remember, do you really want one of these two losing clean?
To lose. Yeah.
And you want to give a taste of a potential world title feud down the line without giving it away already. So I was actually okay with the Usos coming down. Yeah. After I rationalised it a bit, I was annoyed to begin with. But thinking about it, it was a good move and it made sense.
This was, almost kind of perfect in this sense.
So, like I said earlier, McIntyre was breathing, so the Usos are going to attack.
So the Usos are getting their licks in, and Kevin Owens takes advantage with a stunner and looks at the Usos and goes, "Tell Roman he owes me one," and then just leaves. It's like, right, okay, but then Drew manages to get a comeback and still stand strong, which I think was needed. You can't have him look like a chump with taking the finish off Kevin Owens and getting laid out with the Usos. he'd get a measure of revenge on someone, considering he's supposed to be positioned as a credible threat to Roman's title reign. So,
yeah,
as I say, this was on course to be my favourite TV match of the year. The finish kind of let it down, like as far as awarding it like a 4.5 star match, but for me, it still loses out only just to Gunther and Shinsuke, but only just.
Yeah. I think I rated that was a 3 3/4 star, and then Shinsuke and Gunther was 4.
Yeah, it was on track to be a 4.5 star match, but
like you said, the ending was necessary.
It's necessary and made sense, but you can't rationally give a DQ finish that high a score.
I think, in this DQ was done in a tasteful way that it didn't take away too much from the match itself. Like, normally you get a match that's like 2.5 stars, and DQ, count out ending, 1 star.
Yeah.
You know, like, this was a very good match, like you say, 4.5 star, potentially higher. Take it down to a 4, you know, maybe a tiny bit less, but it loses, like, not a lot of quality.
Yeah. So, we come away from that and on to Riddle and Seth segment. Seth is coming down to the ring, and you see Riddle getting mic'd up at his mum's basement. Basically saying that he's now medically cleared. In my notes, I put, if he's cleared, why isn't he there? And of course, he is. as they pan out and you see it's backstage, takes the microphone and everything off and just sprints out of the ring. Of course, that was after putting out the challenge for Clash at the Castle. And we get another fun brawl with Riddle chasing Seth up the stairs. But my only gripe with it is Riddle let him get away when he got to the top of the stairs so he could turn around and pose.
Yeah.
Like, this is a blood feud. You can
you hate this guy. Don't pose.
So that was my only gripe with it, but I did love the heat and intensity up until that point.
Yeah.
Like, I am all for angry Riddle.
But he's the good guy. He needs to get his pop.
I know. And then I put, Veer exists again. So here he is he's up against, what was his name, Bo Richter or Bo Richards?
Yeah, it may as well have been Bo Selector, to be honest.
Like that,
It looked like someone I recognised him though. It's been annoying me all week, but he's Twitter is Bo Richter as well, so is his indie name. But Bo Keller is, sorry. But this is clearly Veer Smash, though he does get some nice looking offense in with a good drop kick and a bit of showboating, which then goes against him because that's the opening for Veer to walk in the hit him with the $1 million arm and then the cervical clutch, which I really hope they change the name of. I really hate that.
Yeah.
And then we go from that to a Dakota Kai interview where she's just about to start talking and then she sees Dana Brooke. So she goes over to speak to her, not to start brawling or anything with her already, and like just kind of almost intimidating, going like, we're going out to the ring and we're gonna wrestle and we're gonna lose. I like that.
Yeah.
Right, so after that we go straight into the US title match, and my first thought is, why the hell isn't this main eventing?
Yep.
Between Bobby and AJ. Very good match back and forth. And again we get Loomis hopping the barricade. And again we get Jimmy saying who it is, and then Corey being like, shut up. Not meant to say.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Voldemort. He who shall not be named.
It's like nearly every commentator has benefited from Vince being away, apart from Jimmy, who just sounds more and more like a clueless idiot every week.
That's probably because he is.
But it's another really great match. Not quite up there with the Drew and Kevin Owens match from earlier in the night, but still incredible.
Yeah.
And madness to me, this is our first time meeting in WWE.
Yep.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that when you said that. I was
They've
like,
been on the same roster for like 2 years.
yeah.
It just goes to show how much Vince loved a rematch and running things like 5, 6, 7 times that we were stopped from getting seeing this.
Yeah.
But as I say, it finishes off with Bobby getting the spear in the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it was a good match.
So after that, we get Dakota versus Brooke. For some reason, the camera cuts to black during Dana Brooke's entrance. She doesn't get her full entrance. Just cut straight to commercial. And I was just thinking something's happened there, but it's not, because they come back and they have a very quick rundown of what's happening on NXT the next night. And then the match starts. Dakota looks really good here, but again, Jimmy calls Dana Brooke a veteran, and Corey quite rightly shuts him down, going, she has been wrestling probably 5 years longer than Dana Brooke at least.
Yeah.
Just because she's not done it here, she has wrestled around the world. Like, proper shut Jimmy down. I was like, thank you, Corey.
Yeah. I feel like Triple H was sort of putting himself in Corey's body there.
Yeah.
Sort of saying, like, don't ignore their past.
Yeah.
Even if it ain't in this company, don't ignore that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, people hate on Corey Graves, and I don't hate him.
No, I don't.
Corey, again, without Vince in his ear, has been much better.
Yeah.
The only one that's doing worse is Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because he's awful.
Yeah.
Just get rid of him and bring Vic Joseph back up to Raw again.
I'd even take Coach.
Vic Joseph's been doing really good in NXT. So bring Vic Joseph up.
Bring Barrett up as well. Just put Jimmy by himself in the next team.
So, obviously, we have that a nice, good, clean win for Dakota Kai. But this is where this show kind of lost it for me, is they finished on Dolph and Theory in the main event. It's a really good match, but why was this the main when you had Kevin Owens and Drew on the card? You had Bobby and AJ.
One idea, or you may say a theory about that.
Yeah.
So obviously, the third hour of Raw loses viewers naturally anyway. So what I think he's done is going, there's not many people watching anyway. When they're actually watching, give them the stuff they want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's kind of, I doubt this, but it's just a little theory, no pun intended, that I've got. So he'd said on the Stone Cold podcast a couple of years ago that third hour of Raw is really a killer, and it is too long. Yeah. Part of me's wondering why if he's trying to slowly bring down the viewership for the third hour while showing really strong hour 1 and 2 to go to advertisers, like it's not really worth still running this third hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pipe dream. There's maybe a 2% chance of it happening.
We just run Dana Brooke matches.
But as I say, it's a good match, and Theory does get the win with the 8-time down. Dolph is doing what he's supposed to, having good long matches to make younger guys look good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just back to the third hour stuff. I think that when you said about him going like strong at the top of the second hour and having a really good match, might be the way to try and get people to stay tuned in, because they think, well, the second hour was really good. Let's see what happens in the third hour, and then you put in your people like Theory and Ziggler in that position. getting them a little bit more spotlight, and if people enjoy them, they'll stay.
Yeah.
So you're trying to see if you can get someone who can. If you're trying to make a new star, you want to see if they can move a rating. So if Theory keeps the viewers, hopefully, you get an indication from it.
Possibly, I suppose.
Yeah, that could be it. But yeah, that was Raw. As I say, it was on course to be like one of my favourite Raws of the year. It still is, but it's not the favourite. And it's just purely the match order. Like, see if on the show they literally swapped the US title match and the Series Off match. Yeah. This probably would have been like my favourite Raw, but I felt like I was kind of tuning out, like not paying as much attention to the third hour.
Yeah, nothing really happened after that match neither, so it was just like.
But if that had been in the middle of the show, would have gone. Yeah, that was a great match in the middle of the card. So
yeah, because if you'd have had Styles and Lashley, you'd have had the whole Dexter Lumis thing happening, and it would have just added to it. Yeah.
So obviously NXT had a live special. So for at the moment, this week only, I decided to do a quick NXT review as well. Now, we'll play this by ear whether we do this in the future. Will generally be if the card looks good, if it's like a live special, then we'll probably cover it. But let us know in the comments and on Twitter if you think we should be covering it every week. We can potentially do it on weeks where Rampage isn't as good, because I swap them in and out. We'll leave that up to you guys. But NXT Heatwave opens up with a Paul Heyman intro, which is really nice because it's talking about all the young, hungry stars of NXT, which really should have been it from the very beginning. You need a voice like Paul Heyman to like lend credibility to these young ones coming up.
Even sort of like when Triple H did the takeover intros in the ring.
Yeah.
Where he's sort of a shout like, "This is NXT," sort of like.
So we open up with the North American title match with Giovanni Vinci versus Carmelo Hayes. I really do love Vinci's entrance. Like the stopping for the still poses, like it's just something again. See things that aren't done by anyone else. It's like.
Yeah, it's great on TV, but if you're there live, it looks really weird.
Oh, I'd imagine, like, if you're just watching him and all of a sudden he just kind of stops. Like, I would. But that works in a small place like the CWC.
Yeah.
It does come across brilliantly on TV. And then it clicked for me as well with the Paul Heyman intro. Heatwave is an old ECW pay-per-view. So that's the connection.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize until just now.
Yeah, same. That's why it's like in my notes after the Giovanni Vinci entrance. It's like, oh yeah. So it starts off really great, but I miss a couple moves because I'm convinced I can see Santa Claus in the audience. It's literally a guy wearing an NXT t-shirt, but he's like proper long white hair and a long white beard.
Santa Claus is NXT.
I posted it in the Discord as well, like, and he was into it. Big Carmelo Hayes fan. Some really beautiful looking offense. In my opinion, being Imperium splitting up was probably one of the best things that could happen for Bartel. Because he's getting a chance to shine on his own now. He is carrying himself really well. Eichner, sorry, aye.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's doing that well. I forgot who he was.
Typical Santa.
I almost proved my point though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, some great crisp looking offense from both of them. I really like the springboard backwards leg drop that Carmelo Hayes does when he launches himself off the second rope, going backwards to do the leg drop. It was just brilliant, and Vinci does a really nice moonsault. And with him being Italian, had to do the pinch fingers for it. And it just led to a really good finish with Carmelo Hayes retaining. I did think there was a chance that Hayes could drop it with loads of XT call-ups and stuff coming up. But he does retain here. So that is followed up with the diamond mine imploding. They've been like kind of niggling back and forth for weeks between Roddy and Julius Creed. And apparently they show footage where Roddy gave a signal to Two Dimes to take him out in a match they had a few weeks ago. So they turn on Roddy, and while they're in the process getting each other's face, Gallus appear, so that's Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers, Joe and Mark, and take them out. And it's at this point, bear in mind there's news breaking just now of the NXT UK releases. I was like, well, I guess NXT UK is done now. Which, sadly, looking at the news, which we'll cover in more detail on Tuesday's show, looks to be the case. But it's not the end of the world for these guys. Like, the UK independent scene is absolutely buzzing just now. Yeah, they've not got the comfy retainer of the WWE where they had in their contracts, but now they're free to work anywhere in the UK. And trust me, the likes of Sha Samuels, Kerry Williams and all the rest, it will be right back in that circuit, right up towards the top of the card and be high in demand. You can guarantee it.
Yeah, I can say from experience, but I can say, for example, Killian Dane, who is now Big Damo, is currently the Progress World Champion.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So, as I say, Gallus are safe from that chopping block now, it seems though. They are over in NXT US and challenging the American tag team that holds the UK tag team championships in the American NXT. So yeah, after that we've got the big long hyped match between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Lots of fire starting this off. Like, this is how you start a blood feud, not with like lockups and stuff. You go right at each other. Some great crisp looking offense from both of them, but towards the end of the match you see more and more hesitation from Roxanne Perez to go right over at the dark side and get as dirty tactics as Cora is. Just as she's about to take her out with Cora's fancy kendo stick, she has second thoughts. The referee convinces her to drop it, and then Cora comes and lays her out with a double arm underhook DDT onto the kendo stick for the win. Very good showing from both the women here. This is how you showcase the younger talent, and I'd say call it, but no, you need those two on NXT, and one of them is going to be one that overthrows Toxic Attraction.
Yeah. Is Cora Jade still looking green? Because the last time I watched
she's improved. She's improved at a hell of a pace. Like, even running, she's taking bigger steps in her run. She's no longer like doing the shuffle run
in the dad run.
Pretty much. But yeah, her facials are much better. She really sold the intensity. And she's got some really crisp looking offense. She did like a full Nelson flatliner thing that looked really good as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, big improvement from her. My next notes are Escobar's money. Like, this is a loser leaves NXT match, so obviously loser graduates from NXT to the main roster. So I was really hoping, believe it or not, that Escobar would lose this. Because Legado del Fantasma are like incredible, and they'll do extremely well on the main roster.
Yeah,
Yeah. and I see what they were trying to do with the finish. So obviously there was no disqualification. It's pretty much just count the pinfall, and there was constant fighting between the Dons and Legado del Fantasma. Two Dines throws in the lead pipe for D'Angelo, and Joaquin throws in the brass knucks for Santos. After a double down, sadly Santos spins himself round on the floor to be kind of level with them, so both their weapons are equal distance apart. But he had to physically took the bump and then spin himself round. So it was one of those. I think they were hoping people might miss that, but I picked up on it. And Tony D'Angelo won the race to his weapon and won the match. So Legado del Fantasma, or at least Santos Escobar on his own. Hopefully they take the lot or go up to the main, just like I drafted. Then it was a Tiffany Stratton and Wendy Chu promo for their Lights Out next match. I've not got any notes on this other than I don't like either of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's that same boat there.
This is followed up by the title match with Mandy Rose and Zoe Stark. Now, I'm not a fan of Mandy Rose, but she does wrestle a good match. And same with Zoe Stark. It was good quality wrestling, but I knew Zoe wasn't winning this. She's in a throwaway Franken team with Nikita Lyons, so she wasn't going to be doing that as NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah.
A lot of really good offense selling the knee that she's just returned from injury from. She being Zoe Stark. The finish of it is basically Mandy takes her knee brace off her and puts her on her own knee to do her knee lift finish, and that gets the 3. But it was a good match, but the screen cut to black constantly because I think Mandy was falling out her top constantly.
Yeah, I've heard something like that. Yeah.
Right, I counted at least 5 black screens.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely mental how often it was happening, but that's what happens when you're asked to wear little bitty booty shorts, as Athena said in her interview. And that's followed up by the main event, which is Braun Breaker versus JD McDonough, former Jordan Devlin, for the NXT title. A good match, though I've no idea why Devlin was kind of thrust into that position. I guess they just needed a filler challenger in between.
Yeah, he was sort of just thrown in after Humphrey Braun fought last, but I think he's.
It was after Gacy.
That's right. Yeah. I feel like there wasn't anyone in a high enough level that wasn't already in a feud. It's like you could have gone with D'Angelo or Escobar, but they had their own thing already. And Carmelo has a title as well, so you can't really go with him. So
the last time I'd watched a decent length match from Braun Breaker was Stand and Deliver, where he had a good match with Dolph, but you could tell Dolph was leading.
Yeah.
This, you can see the improvement in Braun Breaker just in that short period. He's definitely more than ready now for the main roster, I think. Obviously, he's still got a bit to go, but I'm really impressed with him. I think he's got a huge future ahead of him. It's a good match, though. We see again JD McDonough take the blood capsule again, get caught again doing it. And when he kicks out of a spear, he just kind of stands smiling, asking for the next one. Sees it coming and takes the spear for the 3. So, bit of a weird finish that didn't feel right, because it's still, you're fighting for a title. You're not just going to say, come on, beat me.
Yeah, I think it was more a case of he knew he was finished, so he was like, "Go on, give me a shot," because I know I'm done now. So it's sort of a last act of defiance, sort of like you're not doing what you want to do. You're doing what I'm telling you to do.
Maybe I'm not keen on it anyway. But yeah, and just as we're about to go off air, Tyler Bate returns to NXT, coming out with the NXT UK Championship, which he hasn't won yet in canon. Obviously, after Dragunov relinquished the title, they held a tournament on NXT UK, which is due to conclude this evening. But they've basically retconned that and brought him out with a belt and spoiled their own tournament ending, which again gave hints of the sad eventuality that came to pass today with the NXT UK releases. But yeah, that was NXT. They say we won't be covering it every week, just our live specials. So you want to take us home with Dynamite?
Yes, well, sort of. Right, because I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy this Dynamite, and I've seen people who did, so more power to you if you enjoyed this show, but not me. And I actually thought it started off quite well, apart from the fact that it's also got another name called by House of the Dragon, because like you said before,
Dr. Seuss.
Every show has to have a name. But yeah, we came to CM Punk coming down to the ring, who teased his little dive into the crowd and was like, you know what, probably not best to do that, but I've got a big match coming up. So he high-fived a couple of people as he does, enjoyed the pop himself, which he is more than entitled to do after he's been off TV for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just sits down in the middle of the ring like he's about to drop a pipe bomb, and he just calls out Hangman Page. It's like, okay, everyone wants this rematch, give me Hangman Page. He doesn't come out, so he calls him. Basically, it's coward shit instead of cowboy shit. And then he just moves on to Moxley. Runs down Moxley for a good few minutes. Just saying that there's a theme in his career where he's always the third best person in his group, which, to be fair, when he said it, I was like, yeah, you're probably not wrong, actually. And then Moxley obviously comes out, taking his time, as Punk alludes to, and starts singing his theme tune, which I thought was quite entertaining, doing Snow Angels in the middle of the ring. And then Moxley obviously retorts a little bit, tells him he's going to beat him. The titles don't mean anything. Like, it makes me sick that people call me the interim title champion. And then they just have a little bit of a back and forth, and you can tell it's getting really it's a bit playgroundy where they're pushing and shoving each other, but I think that makes it more believable.
Yeah,
and then
the whole thing was very inside baseball as well.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of the stuff they were saying, Punk said that Eddie Kingston was the second best Eddie he'd ever wrestled, and the second best Kingston he'd ever shared a locker room with. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on that Punk. It was more Punk than Moxley. But I did like Mox's line where he was like, "Everyone knows you only came back to wrestling because you're broke."
I did like Punk saying him as well as, "I would hit you, but I'd be worried you would bleed on me." That popped me.
Yes, yeah, no, that was good actually. I actually forgot about that until you brought that up. But yeah, that was good. And then this is where it went bad for me. It's the brawl was not good. I didn't enjoy it. If you're gonna have them brawl, at least let them go for a good minute before security just run in and break it up. It was 15 seconds. It was like security were there and just waiting. This is our cue. They thrown a punch, bang.
In fairness, if you're a security team watching that happen and you see the first shove, you're thinking, right, here we go.
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate there for a second, but I absolutely see what you're saying. If you're going to have a brawl, let them brawl a bit more than that.
Yeah, it's just because, it's going to be, if it was at All Out, but we'll get to that later. It's going to be the biggest probably ever had. Like Punk against Moxley. So let him have that little bit of a brawl for the 30 seconds, just tease it a little bit more than he did. I just didn't think it was enough. But yeah, we'll come back to that because after that it was we cut to Powerhouse Hobbs.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go on.
Did anyone else feel like there was a bit of, I don't know, sort of, he weren't meant to say that, Punk? Would you calling that a page?
Oh yeah, I didn't really want to go too much into this because I had read the reports that he'd just done it sort of off the cuff. But until I see something officially, I sort of just want to leave it as if.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, I was saying, because I didn't feel that way either, but until I saw it, I was like, I don't really see it. But I just thought,
I saw loads of reports on it, like when I was watching Dynamite, because I was looking through Twitter and stuff. And I was just like, oh, right, okay, so maybe he did go into business for himself, but that's just speculation until someone official says it. I did think I saw Sean Ross Sapp mention it, but I'm not 100% at the same time, so it'd take a bit of a looking at. But yeah, we cut to Powerhouse Hobbs, who basically says he doesn't like Ricky Starks, got something planned for him, and the factory are going to get theirs as well. And then we get the 2 out of 3 falls match between Garcia and Danielson. Ricky Steamboat is obviously the special guest timekeeper for reasons. And Jericho's on commentary, which I actually like.
Do you want to know the reasons for Ricky Steamboat being on timekeeper?
Yeah, hit me.
Dragons. House of the Dragon. That is it.
Yeah, okay. So at least we've got a reason for the show being named that then. What an absolute mess.
Alpha Dragon,
right.
Vicky the Dragon, American Dragon, Dragon Slayer.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, as much as that's pretty cringe, the match itself was great. I really enjoyed this match. And like I think you both alluded to it earlier on, that Daniel Garcia is coming into his own with the back and forth he had with the promo. His wrestling is so good. I really enjoy watching him, and the only thing I had a problem with when he came to win the first fall, like he locked his submission in, and Brian was like choked out, and the referee stopped it. It's like, yeah, that's fine. I felt like the second fall started too quickly. Like Brian didn't sell it enough. That he'd just been choked out. But he did the thing where he got up gradually, which I like. So he got up at like 8 instead of jumping up at 9, which I liked. I was like, yeah, he's done that right, but it just wasn't sold for long enough that he'd just been choked out. But yeah, we were a good 10 minutes in, I think, when Garcia got the first fall. Which at that point, I always think you know which way the match is going to go. Danielson was definitely going to be taking this one. As Garcia had already beat him as well. And then I feel like Danielson was like slow, he was methodical, he was Daniel Bryan. And he started no-selling stuff. And I was like, this is great. Like, this is a veteran, no-selling stuff, but he's still getting Garcia over at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just felt like it was everything it needed to be. It was a random roll-up, though, that came sort of out of nowhere, and I felt like the referee had counted it quickly for the second fall to tie it at 1-1. And then, yeah, the third fall, it was always going that way, and he put him into the label lock and got him at about 25 minutes, I think the match ended up being.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did everything to get Garcia what he needed from that match, and then like the sign of respect at the end where Danielson offered him his hand. Obviously, we know that it didn't quite happen because Jericho came and wiped him out. But yeah, then Garcia was just like, no, don't do that. Spun him round. They had their little bit back and forth, and it leaves it sort of teetering from where it did on Rampage, where it's like, do you want to be a sports entertainer or do you want to be the best technical wrestler in the world?
The audience are telling him, you're a wrestler.
Yep, and it was just a very good little cliffhanger to leave for that bit. But yeah, it was a solid match, and I really enjoyed it. I'm assuming you guys enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
It was kind of on a par with the Gunther Nakamura match for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much a two-way tie between those two matches for my match of the week.
Yeah.
yeah. It was definitely with the other one as well, the Lashley and AJ match. Them three, I think you could sort of interchange them, but I'd probably lean to Shinsuke against Gunther if I was put on the spot.
Yeah.
I think
I'd slightly edge towards Gunther and Shinsuke being my match of the week, sort of. But
Yeah.
they're all like within the 4-star sort of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. And it's been like the last few weeks on Dynamite. I feel like they've not had a match like this one, and it was good. I feel like Raw and SmackDown have sort of dominated the matches of the week, whereas this you could put it right up there, and it's been the first time for a few weeks. But yeah, that led into the Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland with Private Party. So they're having a match on Rampage. I can't even. Is it for the titles?
Yep, the number 5 ranked team.
Yep, that's the one. So that was where I was going. That's why I asked. I was like, because these are ranked number 5. So is this for the title?
Yeah.
And they had a little bit of back and forth, but it didn't grab me. I wasn't really interested. I laughed a little bit at Keith Lee when one of Private Party got up in his face. Quite funny. But no, apart from that, it's done nothing to make me want to watch Rampage.
It smacks the WCW Thunder.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was funny, but I'm not too into Swerve in Our Glory, I'll be honest. I prefer Keith Lee on his own.
Yeah, they were sort of teasing a turn from one of them, and then that's sort of been just swept on the carpet.
Yeah, and then it comes to this bit that just was unnecessary. Tony Nese is coming out for a match. John Moxley jumps him, calls out CM Punk, and then CM Punk comes out with security. Just like, what have they been tailing him? Are they stalking him? Why is security still with him? The good thing about it is that as annoyed as like Moxley was, this made Claudio look so good because he just manhandled him. I was just like, yeah, they're putting over that Claudio's strong, like a very, very strong man, which everyone knows, but they've actually put it over in a segment that's not even about him. Because like even the commentators were saying it. You're like, look how strong Castagnoli is.
That's all that big brother trying to.
Yeah, it's just like, when they hold their heads back and they're just like, nope, you're swinging and you're not going to get anywhere. And then we cut to Chris Jericho not being pleased with Daniel Garcia. So he wants a face-to-face meeting with him next week just to see where he stands. And he basically tells him he better make the right decision. Which then leads on to Ricky Steamboat just comes in. So basically says that he doesn't think that Jericho's giving Garcia the best advice. He sort of walks off screen. Angelo Parker gets in Steamboat's face and gets a chop that you could see coming last week. It was just, I was like, I don't know why they've done this. I don't think Steamboat needed to slap him.
I don't think Steamboat needed to talk. He sounded so nervous.
Yeah, well, I just don't think, in all honesty, I don't think he needed to be there. But it is what it is.
Though.
Yeah. It's just, for me, it was taking time away because at this point, you're getting on for like top of the hour, and we've still not seen a single woman on this show.
That's very change.
Yeah, I mean it does change, but it took a while to change. But yeah, next up was the Gun Club and the Varsity Blondes for 27 seconds. It was pointless. Like I said, I think I said it to you before we came on, that I was having a drink, looked up, and the match was over. It was just, it was there purely so the Guns could turn on Billy, because Stokely Hathaway just turns up at the top of the ramp, Billy Gunn does the stupid thing and walks the furthest forward, and it's like the Seth Rollins when he turned on the Shield. And yeah, he just gets wiped out, and then the Acclaimed run in to make the save, and this was the highlight for me. They just start scissoring, and he's like, "Scissor me, daddy ass," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sold. This is great. Loved it."
We were completely on wrong angles there, by the way, DP.
Yeah, it was so good. You're definitely going to screenshot that, aren't you? I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, so they just keep scissoring, and then we cut to Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh, who are ready for Wardlow and FTR. And then can anybody tell me what Satnam Singh said?
He said, "If you're so strong, powerbomb me."
Is that what he said? Right. Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
I didn't want to go back and rewatch it. I was just like, I've got no idea what he said, but I'm assuming it was aimed at Wardlow.
Yeah.
And then we have another package. Well, not a package, but we have another backstage segment. But this one I enjoyed because I forgot that Pac could talk as well as he does. And he basically just says, putting over the match with United Empire the week after, and he even calls Ospreay William Ospreay, and then calls him Billy. Yeah, and it was just a very good promo, and I'm really looking forward to this match. Yeah, it was just like, he didn't put anything on, he was just himself. Because if anyone knows how a Geordie talks, that is how a Geordie talks. He didn't change himself up or anything like that. He just talked how he'd talk, and it was great. And then obviously we get another talking segment, because here is Jungle Boy. This annoyed me. So he comes down to the ring and he talks a bit about Christian and everything that's happened. He tries to hit him with a chair. He tries to hit him with a car. So he wants Christian all out, basically. So Christian comes out, totally rejects his challenge, but then he's just like, but I'm going to come and talk to you. I'm going to step in this ring if that's okay. At no point does Jungle Boy say this is okay. Yeah. But Christian does it anyway. I want to make up with you. I think we both said some things that we shouldn't have said and that we didn't mean. And they're sort of like talking away from the microphones, but you can tell that Jungle Boy's like, are you being serious? Do you mean it? Like sort of teasing that he might go for it. And then he doesn't. So they have a little bit of a brawl. Jungle Boy, it did make me laugh how he kept getting Christian to the floor and then sort of getting to his feet and then just diving like 3 foot in the air and landing back on top of Christian. And he must have done it about 3 times. I was like, why do you keep doing this? You've got the guy down. Just keep punching him. Stop jumping up in the air. And then the brawl to the outside, and then Christian gets a bit better of him, throws him into the barricade, and tells him that he hated him anyway. And then, it sort of leads to, they go around the side of the ring and they get to the steps. So Jungle Boy reverses Christian into the steps and then takes his arm, puts it like over the back of his head and just stamps on his arm. So for me, that is, and I think it was you who said it before, RGX, Jungle Boy's got his retribution there. What's the match for?
Yep. But he's already got his revenge.
Yep. So
they want people to buy all out.
Yeah, I know, because they're not selling it very well.
My main gripe with that was that Jungle Boy does not know how to hold a microphone.
Oh no, he sounded that far away from his face. He sounded like he was in another room.
Yeah. Literally, he's like, hey, so I think I might... and then what I'll do is and then... I sort of... Yeah. Like, he fades in and out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the brawl wasn't as bad as the Moxley and the Punk one. So, I mean, they got that bit right. But maybe it is time for Jungle Boy to change his name from Jungle Boy. I think he should go with Jungle Boy Jack Perry and just add his name in. I wasn't talking like a full name change, but is Jungle Boy, does it sound intimidating?
I thought it meant Jungle Man, in honesty.
No, yeah. That'd be Bance, to be fair. calls himself Jungle Man. But no, I just don't think it's very intimidating in what is now supposed to be, as we've alluded to a few times in this show so far, what is meant to be a blood feud. Jungle Boy in a blood feud doesn't fit well for me. But yeah, and then we cut to another package. Rate would be loving this. FTR and Wardlow are ready for Jay Lethal and his mates. But I did appreciate Dax calling himself the best wrestler in the world. And I was just like...
Everyone should be.
Yeah. And it's just
everyone
like...
should genuinely believe they are the best.
Yeah. And the fact that he says it, even when his tag team partners stood next to him, made it even better. He was just like... He was basically saying, I'm the best person at wrestling on this planet, and I know my best friend stood next to me who's also a wrestler. But yeah, he said it with such conviction. I enjoyed it.
I've not seen a lot of evidence that he's not lately.
Yeah. No, he's been having really good matches. So yeah, I'm not even going to disagree with him. Because I mean, there's a lot of people who'd go with like Okada or Zack Sabre or Will Ospreay maybe. Exactly. Well, people don't tend to like Will Ospreay much. But I knew you'd say that's the only reason I said Zack Sabre Jr. because I knew you'd say him. But the popular belief is among a lot of people who we know through different channels is Okada is the best wrestler in the world. So yeah, we'll let him have that. And then next up, we went to Kylan King against Toni Storm. I don't know Kylan King, so if I don't know her, a casual wrestling fan will not know Kylan King. So this match went for almost 7 minutes, and Toni Storm is challenging Thunder Rosa. And I'm meant to take this seriously. She literally got moves in. For me, this should be Toni Storm being sold as the number one contender for the AEW Women's World Championship. And that's not what I felt like this was.
Yeah.
So if by some miracle that Kyla had won this match, would she be fighting Thunder Rosa all out?
Should be, or at least be added to the match.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like... The match wasn't bad. If this
match was actually really good.
Yeah. If the match wasn't Toni Storm number one contender, the match was great. It got both women over. They both looked really good, and Toni Storm got the win as she should have done. But she's the number one contender and shouldn't be in a match like this against someone. To the casual wrestling fan, no one knows her.
Now, if Kylan King to be on Rampage next week's Dynamite and a few shows after, then I'll look back at this and be willing to forgive it. But I don't think we're going to see her again for another few weeks.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing her next week. I don't think she'll be on Rampage. She might be on Elevation or something, but we don't watch that, so it doesn't count. And then we had a video on the Trustbusters and the Best Friends, because that was needed on this show. And then we got a hype for what's coming on future shows, which is when everything went to pieces for me, because they announced Jon Moxley v CM Punk next week on Dynamite on Free TV.
Again, why buy all out?
Yep. I mean, are they going to do the DQ finish that they don't do? Is something going to happen? Is MJF going to appear? Because I've seen the rumours.
Yeah. I think MJF is one of the only choices that you could have here. Someone interfering and potentially costing someone, or just making it a no contest situation.
Yeah, it's the only way it works is if it's MJF as well. I hope it's not like Hangman, because I don't want it. If it's MJF, I will forgive it.
And then there's the one match with Moxley as well for the title as well.
Yeah.
So it works either way.
I'll forgive it if it's MJF, but if this match has a conclusive finish...
They've chucked money away.
They've thrown the biggest match that they've got.
There's certain people I don't often give props to and their opinions, but as someone mentioned on one of the forums I was in America, they still charge $60 for AEW pay-per-views via Fight. Yeah. We're fortunate it's like $10 or something over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, in America they're still charging $60, and And they're giving you all these in free TV. At the moment, what is worth $60?
Yeah, well, they're giving away the main event of that show, as has been advertised for the last week, on free TV.
And speculated for months beforehand as well.
Yep, precisely. And people will have already pre-ordered this show, anticipating that match. So if they don't get that match, then I don't know what AEW are going to do. This, for me, is completely backwards booking. Makes no sense.
Unless this leads into a situation where someone interferes and...
Yes, well, unless it's MJF. Unless it's MJF. This is the only way it works. It has to be MJF. Because he's been very radio silent, so I am anticipating him being back quite soon. But speaking of returns, the worst kept secret was that Kenny Omega was going to be back on this show. And they still tried to tease it. I enjoyed the entrance, and I enjoyed Kenny Omega's entrance music itself. I don't enjoy Kenny Omega, and I do not enjoy the Young Bucks. But because I knew I was reviewing this, I watched this match. And to be fair, I cannot pronounce Andrade's faction's name. Is it La Faction
Ingobernable?
Yeah, they kept Excalibur nails it every time, and I'm just like, I'm never going to be able to say that. But it was Rush, Andrade, and Dragon Lee.
Ungovernable, if you want.
Sorry?
Just say ungovernable, which is the English for it.
I'll just say La Faction. But yeah, so obviously by now we knew that Kenny Omega was going to be the mystery opponent, so he comes back with Don Callis, which is already a bad note for me. If I wasn't looking forward to Kenny Omega before, Kenny Omega and Don Callis is not for me. But the match actually starts out quite well, and I enjoyed the first 10-15 minutes of it, and then I just felt like it dragged. There was one spot I didn't like was they were teasing the suplexes, and then people kept adding on to the suplex, and it ended up being the three-way suplex. I just feel like that's not needed. No one's going to stand there for that length of time. It didn't make any sense. I didn't enjoy it. But there was a really good part of the match where the guy on the outside, what's his name? Alex. Is it Alex something?
Hervantes.
Yeah, that's him. He was stood on the outside, and he obviously trips Omega. And they pull him out of the ring, and they put him on the barricade. And Andrade holds the ropes open. They hold Omega. It's Rush and Alex Marvantes hold Omega on. And Dragon Lee just literally launches himself, and he flips, and it looks like a neck breaker, but it looks so brutal that was I've not seen anything as impressive in this week of wrestling. As good as the other matches were, that is the spot of the week for me. That was insane, and he nailed it as well. He didn't miss.
If you've ever seen a match with Dragon Lee in it, that's always a spot he does.
Really? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's not new. So he's just new to me.
He's new to AEW, but if you see him on New Japan or in Mexico or whatever, you'll see, or even in Runner, you'll see him there normally. Yeah,
for me that was new, and I was that was very good. And the fact he did it to Omega, who still had the strapping on his shoulder, which I thought was a little bit weird, and he kept alluding to him not being 100% in commentary, which is Don Callis was banging on about. Yeah, well, he's not 100%. Well, why is he here? If he's not 100%, why is he even agreed to this?
Exactly. Why ever use the crutch of they're not medically cleared? What doctor, when he's doing that kind of stuff in the ring where he's pretending he can't lift someone up or even just limping in the ring without having his ankle attacked or whatever, what doctor signed him off?
Yeah, exactly. And it was just
Punk in 2014.
yeah, probably. But and then we get the super kick party that we always get in a Young Bucks match, and then they hit a double moonsault from Andrade, and I think it was Rush And then it was really random, actually, and this annoyed me as well, because they put them... I can't remember who they put down, but Omega and Matt Jackson are sort of standing close to where Nick Jackson's getting a pin in. And so that is at the point where you're thinking, if anyone jumps in the ring now, they're gonna stop him. And literally, they both dive into the ring, and Omega and Matt Jackson had just stood there like, I'm not even going to stop this. And it really annoyed me. It was like, because they should have stopped it. And then at the end of the match, they did the thing they should have done before and stopped them getting in. And then, the match ends after, I think it went 5 or 6 minutes too long. I just started getting very out of the match. I wasn't interested anymore. And it's the most interested I've been in an Omega and Bucks match in ages, but they lost me because it just went too long. Omega hits a V-trigger, and then he gets a partial one-winged angel, I think. He didn't look great doing it, and that finished the match. It was basically all about Omega returning. There was only ever going to be one winner in this match. And then right at the end, I don't know what happened in the ring, but the camera was on Omega, and then I think it was Andrade laid out Dragon Lee.
And then
they cut back to Omega, and the Bucks jump into the ring, but it just, like, the feed cuts. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, they basically kicked Dragon Lee out of the group.
Yeah, but it was like the Bucks went in to save him, and I wanted to see what happened after. And we couldn't because it just went off.
I think it plays more into the fact that Dragon Lee is not signed, and he is Mexican. So obviously, the sacred art of keeping your face concealed means more.
Yeah, well, they said his mask came off, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as soon as his face is shown, you cut the camera because you can't show his face because he's not, again, signed to the company. Yeah. Whereas before, with like Penta, you could do it because he is signed.
Right, I thought that was just like a Mexican thing, to be honest.
Yeah, but you have to respect that tradition. Could you imagine if a company booked Ray for a one-off show and had him demasked? Or
that's fair enough. But I didn't realize it went that deep. That's all. So that's just more on me than anything else. But I wasn't a massive fan of Dynamite. It wasn't the worst I've ever seen, but.
Yeah,
I don't know.
For me, they were just throwing away good money.
Yeah.
That was my biggest gripe of the show.
They've done that with Punk and Moxley. I don't get it. Don't understand. So we'll see what happens, I suppose. But yeah, that was Dynamite.
And that brings us to the end of a very long show.
Yes, it does. It's got a bit longer than we anticipated, I think.
So... Again, that's a reason why if we're ever going to review NXT, we'll probably drop Rampage for that week. Yeah. Ray will be back next week. He'll be better at keeping us on time because he does all the reviews himself pretty much.
Yeah.
But what a good discussion points there though. So all our socials are in the description below, including our Twitters, our show Twitter, which is at @honor_club. That is honor with a U because we are British. And our Discord is also down there. We're also very active on Twitter. So tell us, are we off base with any of this? Do you agree that Rampage should be dropped? Let us know. Obviously, we've got so much wrestling content coming on the way for you guys. DP has another few shows. We've got his live review from the show he was at last week going up. That should be up in the next couple of days, probably Sunday because rate's off this week. And then next week he might even have another review for us because he's going to yet more shows.
That is right, yes. So on the weekend, I've got Rev Pro's 10th year anniversary. It's a 2-night show, Saturday and Sunday. So that'll be fun. Trying to record a review for those between 2 days, just remember them. But that is what I will have for that week anyway.
So yeah, as I say, we're back in touch with our indie roots in the UK. So look out for more indie show reviews and wrestler profiles, interviews, all that kind of fun jazz is coming to the channel too. So like, comment, subscribe, share us among your friends, reach out to us on Twitter. But that's all for today. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Adios.
Goodbye.
Konnichiwa.